Hey everyone, Retire on Dividends here. I finally remembered to cover the other Defiance funds in this video. So normally, when I do the dry video, I do Defiance versus Roundhill versus YieldMax, and I always mean to cover this, these three at the end, and I never remember. So I'm going to cover them in the beginning. So anyway, let's get to it. So Defiance, as you know, has other high-income ETFs called SPYT, USOY, QQQT. They've been around. SPYT launched March, USOY launched May, and QQQT launched in June. And a lot of people are still interested in these funds, which is obviously why I still cover them. So, let's go take a look. They did declare, by the way, recently on the 29th declaration date, SPYT, as always, it actually showed 19.86%, obviously because this goes based on the price on declaration dates, which can fluctuate. So that's a 19.86% yield. USOY, 70% yield based on their latest payment, and QQQT showing 21%. But in the end, again, SPYT, QQQT, they average to be about 20% yield, and USOY so far has been averaging a 60% yield. So let's take a look and see if they did recover since, the prior distribution. So if we go back for SPYT, their last payment was 33 cents. So since that payment, they have done rather well. And in the end, again, I'll make this pretty quick. In the end, the month-to-date income up until the declaration date was a 295% recovery rate. So they recovered almost 3 times over. And then again, they declared a 33-cent payment. So they'll do their best to recover that one, hopefully 3 times over again. You can see the price of SPYT at $20.28, which again, pretty amazing. Their total return to date, they're positive 14.76%. That's without drip, of course. Now, USOY, their distribution prior to the latest one paid 78 cents. So how much did they recover of that for the month? They recovered about 70% of that. They made about 55 cents month-to-date income up until declaration date, which is decent. It's not fantastic. And then again, their latest distribution was 87 cents. Total return, they are at essentially even. They're down 0.33%, which again, is not great, but it's better than being down more, I guess. Anyway, QQQT, the distribution from last month totaled to be 32 cents. So the month-end tally, they had a recovery rate of 286% because they made about 92 cents per share, which is pretty damn good. Again, just like SPYT, almost 3 times over. So their total return, though, shows 3.6%. Again, that's not that great, but hopefully in due time, they'll look much better. Their latest distribution was 34 cents, so we'll see how much or how long it'll take them to recover that amount for this next month. Going to the summary tab. This, I'll have it updated in more detail next time. Obviously, I filled in the payment information, but we'll have the premium income tally completed for next week's, review. As far as outstanding shares, no change, at least on the website. So nothing to report there for SPYT, USOY, and QQQT. All right, so that's the big three, the other big three. And now for the main event, QQQY versus QDTE, then WDTE versus XDTE, then IWMY versus RDTE, then YMAX versus YMAG. So here we go. All right, so short week, right? Short week, one of the days where we were closed, the market was closed. So Monday, the index, the NASDAQ went up 0.14%. QQQY went up 0.39%. QDTE only went up 0.12%. So in comparison, QQQY won. They beat QDTE and they beat the index. All right, moving on to the next day, which would be Tuesday. Tuesday, the index went up 0.57%. QQQY went up 0.48%, but QDTE went up more. It went up 0.94%. So QDTE for the win. Next up was Wednesday. Wednesday happened to be, I believe, Wednesday was ex-dividend date for this week because it was a short week. The index, the NASDAQ went down 0.85%. QQQY went down 0.56%. And QDTE went down a little more at 0.74%. So QQQY took the win yet again. Now, here is what this is. This shows Thursday's date, but it's going to be for Friday, the half day. The NASDAQ actually went up 0.9%. QQQY captured 0.3% of that, and QDTE captured half, 0.45%. So QDTE for the win. So they actually tied this week. QQQY had 2 wins. QDTE had 2 wins. So it was a tie. Good job, guys. All right, moving on to the next one. So this is where we compare the S&P to WDTE to XDTE. And by the way, WDTE, in case you don't know, I'm sure you know, is Defiance. XDTE is Roundhill. All right, let's start on Monday. Monday, the S&P went up 0.3%. WDTE captured 0.22%, but XDTE captured more at 0.42%. So XDTE for the win on the Monday. Tuesday, the S&P went up 0.57%. WDTE captured 0.24% of that, but XDTE, again, captured more, 0.49%. So XDTE for the win. All right, here's a down day. The S&P went down 0.38% the next day. WDTE only went down 0.27%. XDTE went down a little more at 0.29%. So WDTE with a slight victory there. Then the next day, the S&P, again, this is for the Friday, even though it shows Thursday's date. Friday, S&P went up 0.56%. WDTE went up 0.34%, and XDTE only captured 0.21%. So interesting. Usually the Roundhill ones will always capture more on the upside, but not all the time. So as far as who won, it's another tie. So XDTE with 2 wins, WDTE with 2 wins. So again, 2-2, 2-2. So time for the tiebreaker. Here we go. All right, so Monday. What did the Russell do? The Russell went up a lot. 1.47%. This is what the Russell does. It moves a lot. The IWMY only captured 0.67% because, again, it doesn't capture the upside that great. So if you have a big day like that, this is where Defiance sucks. Roundhill went up 1.71% because it does capture. It captures a lot of it in the after hours, in the pre-market. So good job. RDTE with a win by a lot, a win by over 1%. So that's going to keep them way ahead in total return over IWMY in the long run. All right, next day, the Russell went down 0.73%. IWMY went down 0.36%. RDTE went down more, 0.59%. So IWMY for the win. Then the next day, the Russell went up 0.08%, which is not much. IWMY went up more, 0.4%, but RDTE went up even more, 0.46%. So RDTE for the win. Last but not least, the Russell went up 0.35% on the Friday. IWMY captured a little more, 0.37%, but guess what? RDTE with the win by 0.01%. RDTE takes the win. 3 wins versus 1 against IWMY, which means Roundhill with the win by split decision. Yay! I know, it doesn't really matter, but it is interesting. It was a close match. It was a really good match this week, short week, of course, but that was fun. All right, now let's go to YMAX versus YMAG. Jay versus Jay. Who's going to win? All right, let's see. Monday, YMAX went up 0.54%. YMAG went up 0.05%. So YMAX with the victory. All right, this is an interesting day. Tuesday, what the hell happened? YMAX went down 1.14%. You hear that? YMAX went down 1.14%. Maybe that was the day MSTY and SMCY went down. I don't know. But YMAG that same day went up 0.93%. So YMAG whooped that ass. So YMAG with the win. All right, the next day, YMAX went up 0.6%. YMAG went down 0.41%. So YMAX for the win. Good job. And then last but not least, the half day, the Friday, YMAX went up 0.41%, but YMAG went up more, 0.94%. So YMAG for the win. Guess what? It's a tie. J tied J, 2-2, right? YMAG 2 wins, YMAX 2 wins. Now, let's go on to the yield war. Who's going to win? All right, so QQQY, as usual, yields more than QDTE. WDTE, as usual, yields more than XDTE. IWMY, as usual, yields more than RDTE. And YMAX yields more than YMAG, the usual, for the most part. Now, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to look at the top three of these 8 funds, these 8 fantastic funds, who had the number one yield this week. And the winner is YMAX with 86% yield. Are you kidding me? I mean, that is nuts. YMAX, I can't say enough things. It has been doing really, really good. I know they got some shitty funds in there, so it can do really bad as well. So let's just enjoy the good times. All right, in second place, IWMY with a 57% yield. They've been in the top 3 since I've been tracking this every single week. So IWMY consistently has one of the highest yields out of all of these funds with a 57% yield. I mean, that's pretty nice. And then YMAG, number 3, third place, YMAG, 54%. Not bad at all. All right, that's who we highlight, but who's fourth place? QQQY at 43.8% yield. And who's fifth for fun? RDTE, good job, 37.5%, so not bad. So that's the yield war. Now let's go to the NAV war. Who's going to win the NAV war? Well, if we compare the NASDAQ to QQQY to QDTE, who won the NAV war this week? QDTE, it won. It beat the NASDAQ by 0.01%, so good job. Up next, S&P versus WDTE versus XDTE. S&P whooped those asses. S&P up 1.05%. But in second place, XDTE did beat WDTE by it went up 0.82%. WDTE only went up 0.53. Now, the Russell versus IWMY versus RDTE. RDTE took the win. It went up 1.96%. The Russell took second, up 1.17%, and IWMY only up 1.0. I mean, it's still up 1.07%, so that's not bad. YMAX versus YMAG. YMAG beat YMAX this week. It went up 1.52%. So now if we're looking at the top 3, in first place this week in the NAV war, RDTE, again, 1.96%. In second place, YMAG went up 1.52%, and in third place is the Russell, up 1.17%. All right, so that's the NAV war. Now we'll look at the total return war. I wonder if I should put the MAGs under the NAV war. I don't know, but anyway, if we look at total return war, nothing's changing here. But QDTE and XDTE and RDTE, again, because of the individual upside days where they are able to capture, 1 to even more percentages above the Defiance funds, the Defiance funds cannot catch them, right? Unless the market has consistent, day in, day out, flat, minimal up, minimal downside, then, Roundhill is going to continue to win. Because again, when the index jumps up a decent amount per the day, that's when Roundhill shines. Because again, they're not in lockdown on the after hours. They do their trades in the same day. So any after hour or pre-market activity, they are able to capture that upside. However, overall total return, YMAX is still the best. They are up in total return 12.34%. The next up is an index, is the Russell, up 10.03%. Who's in third? Let's see. 8.95. The MAGs is actually in third because they're up total return 8.95%, and then RDTE up 8.6%. So not bad. All right, last but not least, we go to the assets under management, or the AUM war. Who has grown? What funds are growing? Well, again, QQQY, they did not grow, but they did not decrease. They did not update. I don't know. Maybe they just stayed flat. But no change for QQQY. QDTE, 450,000 new outstanding shares. WDTE did have 250,000 additional outstanding shares. XDTE, an additional 190,000 outstanding shares. IWMY, no update, no change. RDTE, an additional 440,000 outstanding shares added. YMAX, an additional 1.7 million outstanding shares. Are you kidding me? YMAX is growing. I mean, as it should. It's a nice fund. YMAG is also growing, up 450,000 outstanding shares. So if we look at the total assets under management, Roundhill in first place. They're probably going to hit $1 billion out of these three next week, so stay tuned for that. But they're showing 956 mil. YieldMax number 2, 677 mil, and Defiance number 3, 392 mil. But keep in mind, YieldMax is only representing of 2 funds, and Defiance and Roundhill are represented by 3 funds. So obviously, if YieldMax had 3 funds, they'd probably be in first place. Last but not least, the finals tab. So this calculates what the average yield is and what the total NAV appreciation is. So we can see, who looks, if you care about that yield out of everything the most, who has the highest yield? Well, YMAX. All right. If you care about the total NAV, who has the best NAV appreciation? Well, it's YMAX. So there's no comparison. Like no one's touching them right now. So YMAX is in the lead. Who's second? Well, actually, it's YMAG. So YieldMax number 1 and 2, because they have a 46% yield, which is not the second best. However, their total NAV is third best. So between the two, I'd say they're number 2. And then you got it's debatable in between the rest of them. IWMY has the second best yield at 54%, but Roundhill has the second. RDTE, has the second best total NAV appreciation at 8.9%. So again, some of these numbers, I'll go through them real quick though. QQQY, average yield 43.7%, total NAV appreciation 2.5%. Because again, I got to remember, a lot of people listen to this in the car. QDTE, average yield, since I've been tracking, 30.2%, total NAV appreciation 5%, positive. Everything's positive, which is good. WDTE, average yield is 34.9%, total NAV appreciation 2.4%. XDTE, average yield 21.5%, that's pretty damn low. That's the lowest of the bunch. Total NAV appreciation, though, it's up 4.4%. IWMY, average yield is 54.4%, total NAV appreciation 2.5%. RDTE, average yield is 36.3%, total NAV appreciation is 8.9%. YMAX, average yield is 60.31%. Total NAV appreciation, 12.48%. And last but not least, YMAG, average yield is 46.96%. And total NAV appreciation, 8.59%. So again, everyone has pretty good numbers. So you can't go wrong. I'm happy to own all 8 of these. Yeah, I've been buying them. I didn't buy any this week. This is actually the first week I didn't because I didn't have any money. But they're helping me pay the bills. I mean, you can't go wrong. It's a weekly paycheck. So they're all performing rather well. Some better than others. There's good days, there's bad days. But what do you guys think? I know a lot of you do love Roundhill, and a lot of you bailed on Defiance. But again, I'm still using Defiance because they have better days than Roundhill, right? But in the long term, what's a better option? Again, when you're going to get those big up days, Roundhill probably will perform total return wise better, right? But as far as income now, Defiance is the best outside of YMAX, of course. But again, take it, play, use them to your, however you want to. They're all different tools in the toolbox. Some do better jobs at different things. So anyway, that's the whole point here. We just compare them week in and week out. We see like when they perform better than others, and we go from there. But hopefully you guys enjoy this content. As always, none of this is financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. This video is for fun and entertainment. So hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you're entertained. If not, we will try again next week. If you enjoy this content, please hit the like button. It does go a long way, and I do appreciate that. And if you have any questions, concerns, leave them in the comments down below. Outside of that, name me one fund. This is not keyword time necessarily, but this is just in the comments. Name me your favorite fund out of these 8. And again, I'll go back to the finals. Out of those 8 right there, name, if you had to pick one fund to own and keep buying forever, which would it be? I'm guessing YMAX would be the winner, but we'll see. Let me know in the comments down below. All right, guys, I gotta go. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day. Take care. Later.